I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I'm gonna go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's gonna happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! We are back with the Labor Day USA edition of the MMA Analysis podcast. We are going to China. We got a Chinese fighter in a title fight. I didn't think I'd say that in 2019, but here we are. No Bradley this week. I guess he's, still scouting out professional lacrosse season. I think that's still going on. So he's
skinning bodies
man.
At the cabin.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, he's doing that in between Major League Lacrosse matches. We got Nushan. We got the Kentucky Sodsman. Everybody's favorite Southern gentleman, Wes Colvin. Boys, how are you?
We are doing good, man. College football. We actually got some real games started up, which is
We had a real game to start the season last weekend.
It's not the same though. It's not the same.
But that was a good. It
game, was good.
Though.
Yeah, it was really good. But this is opening weekend. It's pretty awesome. We got the NFL. I believe next week, is it? I think it might be next week.
Next Thursday.
Yeah,
or is it Thursday? Or is it Thursday after? Is it Thursday after?
No. I think it's next Thursday. Yeah, we got fantasy football drafts this weekend and shit. So yeah, it should
be the 5th. Packers versus Bears on the 5th of September.
Yeah. So yeah, football started back up. We got some Labor Day weekend throwback NASCAR at Darlington this weekend. So that's
I gotta make it to Darlington some point.
Yeah, me too, man. That's a track I haven't seen, man. That's been on the list forever. It's one of the original NASCAR tracks, man. Been around for like 60 something years or something like that. So yeah, it's a good sporting weekend, man.
And then we got an absolute tire fire of a UFC.
Then I gotta get up at 2:00 in the morning and watch.
2 a.m. baby, let's go.
Just stay up from the night before, Wes.
That's an all-nighter. The next two China cards, I will literally be pulling all-nighters. One is going to be in my living room in fucking Kentucky. The next one, I'm going to be sitting at one of the 24-hour books somewhere in Las Vegas.
Oh, it's a Singapore card, not China.
You always call it China. Singapore and China are different things.
Well,
you ever looked at a map or what?
Asian fucking.
One Lance is allowed.
There we go.
Lance is not allowed it.
Me and like 3 other people will be up for that fucking card as well. It should be a good time.
Fuck, it's a 3 a.m. start time this weekend.
I'm not sure if it's better or worse.
That's like worse because it's
for Nushan, it's not terrible because
that's
1
the
a.m.
sweet spot. Yeah,
you prefer the midnight start.
Oh, yeah, that's that one's gonna be a tough one.
3 a.m. Eastern time. That's this weekend.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't hate. It's not gonna work.
So that's Friday night, right? Is that Friday night? Saturday
I might
morning?
just wake up for the main card and then watch the prelim card like ahead of it, like afterwards. Yeah.
Jesus, what are they doing to us here? Huh? This is
Wait, it's Friday night into Saturday morning, or is it?
Well,
Saturday into Sunday morning.
No, it's Friday night, late night / Saturday, bright and early.
Oh man.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of like tomorrow night.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yikes.
Here we are. At least, I guess we got a show.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going on in the MMA world? I know one thing that's going on. Wolf City. Is BJ Penn the new Melvin?
Oh my God. This guy.
What? Yeah.
I mean,
at least it came out that.
Is there anyone that's going down a cliff faster than BJ Penn? It is bad news, dude.
Apparently, the guy did start with him in this one.
So what?
So what?
But
Walk
I
away,
hear
man.
you. I hear you. He can't. The dude's
He's putting
turned
himself in
into
those situations.
Yeah, he's turned into a complete alcoholic, man. He's fucking 40 years old. He's out at fucking bars and shit at 2:00 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, the only thing that happens at 2:00, 3:00 in the morning at bars is fucking trouble. You're eventually gonna be getting, especially when you're fucking.
When you're drinking at that level.
Well,
yeah.
you're BJ Penn in Hawaii. Like, you're gonna like, oh shit, 40-year-old BJ Penn. How many guys we seen in our life in the MMA were like, oh, I could beat these dudes. You know what I'm saying? I could scrap with these dudes. You know, like
a couple days a year I'll get to the bar and I'll be there at closing. But man, it's I have a feeling he's doing it pretty regularly.
This just has a sad ending written all over it.
Sure
It's there's lots of just bad warning signs. I mean,
he's not long for this life, is he?
He's had substance abuse problems for a long time. And like that's his, I believe it was Perillo that said just a couple weeks ago or a few weeks ago that they think that he's actually in his best place when he's training and fighting. So they want him to
come up with this shit.
I mean, you can see it though. I mean, I think that's probably true. Like when he's not got his mind focused.
Yeah, but he's got a fucking fight right now.
But yeah, I understand.
How
man.
can he be excited for that fight though, Nushan?
Because supposedly it's his last fight and he's got beef with Nick Lentz.
How
so
many fucking times has he had his last fight?
I don't know.
He needs to find something to get his mind on, man.
There isn't,
like,
though, man. Like it's.
I know, man.
I
know.
It's just bad news written all over it. Not good. Like fuck.
It never goes good with these guys, man.
Yeah.
Just
Substance abuse and CTE equals a very bad ending.
Who ends up in jail first, BJ Penn or Melvin?
BJ. I mean, fucking. Hell, Melvin actually trained and fought. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
didn't he fight recently on
bare knuckle. Yeah, I mean, he got beat. He's terrible. He's terrible now, but
too, man. He's
still not in the shit.
It's ugly.
He's still not in the shit that BJ's fucking in lately.
Yeah, is he getting arrested for? Well, I guess he is. He's supposedly he's expecting a court hearing at the end of August. Oh, actually yesterday regarding a domestic violence incident, facing second degree assault and third degree assault charges. Jesus Christ.
Is this Melvin?
That's Melvin. That's Melvin.
See what I'm telling
you.
It's a race to the finish. Holy
you got to get picked back up by the UFC somehow, and then your domestic violence charges just somehow disappear, and you get talked about to be fighting John Jones and shit. So I mean,
we're talking about Greg Hardy now.
I mean, no, we're talking about the original Greg Hardy, baby.
That's more exciting news. Rumble Johnson coming back at heavyweight. If he can make it.
Yeah.
I don't think
pushing 3 bills, man. I don't know.
Think it's going to be good, actually. Yeah. I mean, this guy's never fought at carrying around the shit he's carrying around right now. I mean, he's never even been in a fight walking around at fucking 300 pounds with muscles coming out the side of his neck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Even when he fought like Arlovsky and shit like that at heavyweight, he was still, I'm pretty sure, in like the mid, like it was. What I don't know, 230, 240, something like that. Yeah. It was not where he's at. And I don't know, like people are excited just because obviously he fucking hits hard and does crazy shit. But I don't know, man. Like I don't feel like he's a real fighter. Even with all the bullshit that's come up with his.
Well, because he's quit too many.
He's a quitter.
I just don't think he likes to fight. It's just something that he's good
not,
at. He's got nothing better to do. Yeah.
Clearly not.
He's a head case.
I mean, he's got I don't get it either. He's got shit going on now outside the cage. I don't get why these dudes keep coming back. Like, he's actually making a little money, man. I mean, he's invested in some fucking marijuana. He's invested in some gyms and shit. I don't get
but in a cool $200,000, $400,000.
Yeah, it's a good little chunk real quick. Yeah. He'll sell a fucking he'll sell some fucking buys. I guarantee you put him against fucking Stipe or hell, goddamn, put him against John Jones. I mean, that's a big fight. Bad things are going to happen to him though. I'm telling you.
Yep. Yeah,
But,
I mean, I guess that's what's going on in this week in MMA. There's not much. We had the rare week off last week, which was kind of nice, but I kind of would have liked it better ahead of.
Right?
Well, did that happen after we recorded last week or before?
what was it?
When fucking Helwani had a sit down
Oh God,
with McNutty and didn't ask him anything about sexual assault or anything like that, and it was such a bullshit. Just
I know we see. I've seen people say talk about the laws in Ireland and shit, and talk about like you can't talk about the case or something like that, or it could get dismissed. Like that does not preclude American journalists from asking questions about,
I mean, the New York Times wrote about it, so it's not that it's out in the open now. Like
now McGregor saying I can't talk about that and moving on is another thing. But you have to ask that question, like period. You have to ask him about that. Helwani is he's not a journalist.
Shill, man. He's a UFC shill.
Watch that Luke Thomas video that he did about it. I'm not the big Luke Thomas fan, never really have been, but he did a video about all this shit that I think is just about spot on. I mean, he's right. He even called himself out about it. He's like, we're not journalists. We don't even really do interviews. We do PR puff pieces. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yes, that is what they are. They are not journalists. I mean, when you have guys like I really liked Akamoto for forever, man. And once ESPN got in bed with the UFC, him and Helwani pretty much just became PR guys for the UFC. They turned into fucking John Morgan. It's just not this sport's never had any kind of real journalistic kind of fucking side to it. I mean, guys the few guys that have ever tried to do actual journalistic work into this sport have been blackballed. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's the whole thing where, I mean, the big guys don't cover it because of, I don't know, for one reason or another, whether they're told not to cover it or that there's not much out there for people. Like, people aren't going to click on it. I don't know if it's just people don't give a shit. They're just looking for these puff pieces and finding out what the hell McGregor's doing or whatnot. But I don't know. There's not much investigative journalism in MMA.
See, it's not a sport. I mean, it's not really a sport.
Fuck
like
no.
You're not going to get the clicks. Now, I will say though that Mookie Alexander, the dude on tour that runs, that's an editor at Bloody Elbow,
yeah.
He said that their coverage of the antitrust lawsuit trial that's been going on this week with the UFC, their first article that they put up about it got over 40,000 clicks on it. So it's not like nobody.
So it might be more of a UFC flexing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's something. I don't know. I guess I don't know what the going rate for one of their articles is.
He said that's a big article for them. It got clicks. So there is people that want this kind of journalism in the sport. I think especially when it's the nitty gritty behind the scenes shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want to know about that shit. I mean, outside of that though, they're like you said, Sean, there's not many things that people really give a fuck. I mean, it's not like other sports. There's not fucking contract negotiation and shit like that. There's just not all that other shit to be covered. It's still dudes fist fighting in a cage, man. You're never going to have a vast amount of people in this country or in the world care about fist fighting, man. It turns a lot of people off, and that means a lot less clicks on your work, so you run out. McNutty fucking punched an old dude, but he's sorry, he didn't mean it. Right. He's so sorry after the video came out,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he was super sorry. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I guess that
he certainly didn't punch that guy very hard though.
Yeah, I don't know, he's losing the power. That left is getting weak and weak after every bump he's
Or that
taken.
dude's got a granite chin.
I hate to say it, man, but fuck, dude, I know I've talked about it for a few years now. A lot of people did. That dude always had a fucking horrible ending written all over him, man. You could see it a mile away what money and fame was going to do to that dude, and he's taken it to just a crazy. He's lost it, man. It's not good. We've seen it a lot of times happen too, man. Money, fame, and fucking cocaine can do crazy fucking things.
Cocaine.
It's not good. Now he's out here fucking talking about fucking. Oh, I want this fight, and I want to fight fucking Frankie Edgar. And she's like, shut up, motherfucker. You want to fight Frankie Edgar now? Hell yeah, you do. You want to win real quick, motherfucker. It's so good. You notice that motherfucker ain't, begging Nate for a fight now. Like, it's good shit. I love that he's lost the. Not saying I'm not saying that McGregor isn't great to have in MMA. He is, man. He's still one of the best draws. He's gonna be in MMA, but it's kind of good to see the shine fade a little bit. The way the dude's acted over the past 18 months or so. It's kind of.
I mean, maybe it'll be an eye opener for him. Maybe he'll get his shit together and get back fighting and. I don't know. I felt like when he was actually actively fighting, he got into a lot less shit. Like, I mean, it's kind of the same thing that we talked about.
Oh,
with
absolutely.
BJ Penn.
Yep.
Like when he's training, he's got his shit together instead of climbing up in a fucking tree and doing too much cocaine. Can't really be doing too much of that when you're training for a fight. So I don't know. Maybe he's gonna turn it around. I mean, when he's actually fighting, it's better for MMA. There's more eyes on it, but. It's not looking good right now.
Some of the picks that have come out over the past couple months, man, like him coming out of crack houses and shit, and there's one pick of him coming out of a few months ago of him coming out of one of these crack houses and shit, and he looks fucking rough, dude. Like he looks really. Party. Yeah, it's not good, man. It is not good. We'll see. I like watching a little bit of the Irish reaction to him, though. It seems
They've
like
turned on him.
They're fed up with him over there. They really are.
They want him to fight.
Well, they don't want him to be a fucking scumbag either. They're fed up, man. When you're cracking your own kind in a bar, old dudes in a bar just sitting there, that's.
Yeah, there's nothing cool about that.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I guess on the topic of that antitrust lawsuit and stuff like that, it came out that the UFC's like basically their mandate when they sold to WME or whatever, that they need to keep the fighter's share of the revenue to 20%, which is interesting.
Which is horrible.
Yeah, compared to other sports, but I don't know. I don't know if any of this changes anything. I feel like we've come across so many things that have not tempted these fighters to unionize and collectively bargain that I don't know if anything is going to change it ever.
No, because it's gonna take multiple guys at the top that make the real money to stand up and do something, and that's never gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just the way the UFC is.
And I get it though from their point of view though. I mean, I think they should, but I get it. Like, man, I get punched in the head for a living. I'm gonna make as much money as I can. I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. I get that. I really do. Yeah, but it's not gonna change. And they the other stuff that came out, like it actually, like the first Fox deal or something, the revenue that they gave out actually trickled down. It went down to like 16% or something like that. So it was like they tried to get them for everything they could. Then like when WME bought them, they couldn't go above 20% because of their debt. You know what I'm saying? Like they have the debt payments they have to make every year, and they couldn't go above 20% or they would be in trouble with their debt payments. So it's like your company is leveraged in debt. It's hurting your it's your workforce, but you claim their contractors. You know what I'm saying? Which is a fucking joke. But yeah, it's why we all say all the time, this will never be a real sport ever. Like other real sports, players get half of the revenue. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if they should get half. I don't dig too deep into all contract negotiating shit, but it's got to be more than 20%, man. Like, come on, that's bad when you're making.
The only way it's going to really change is if there's another organization, maybe one that really offers a significant amount of money, and they lose real upper echelon fighters with regularity. Then they're going to have a real situation. But until then,
I don't think that happens.
They can do what they want.
Yeah, I don't think that
change.
UFC is the so. I mean, they're head and shoulders so far above every other organization. I don't think that ever happens. They pretty much have a monopoly on it with the deals they have, and it's never going to happen. Yeah, I mean, I think it could change with maybe new leadership. I just don't know if that ever happens.
When the hell is new leadership going to happen? I mean, these guys just bought it a couple of years ago.
Eventually, they'll sell. They'll move on. I mean, they will eventually move on. Eventually, Dana's going to be dead. He's going to be gone. The owners will move on.
That'll be the best thing. I mean, the only thing about him is that he is extremely well known. And his presence gives the sport media
He's a promoter.
coverage.
He's a good promoter. He's a good promoter.
That's
but
what he is, yeah.
For so many years, he's kind of portrayed himself as like
more than that.
More than that. He's there for the fighters, and we make these guys. I mean, how many times have you seen Dana do an interview talking about how much money he makes these guys and how well off these guys are and all this and shit? Like, he portrays himself far more than a promoter. That's all he is, though. He's a promoter. Now he's a part owner, you know. He's about making profits, you know. I just don't think it's especially the way with this sport's going right now. We say it over and over how watered fucking down this sport is right now. I don't think you're ever going to get your good talent to make it better if you don't start paying more money. So it's kind of, what do you want in the end? The UFC right now, it doesn't matter to them that it's this shitty because people are still watching. But when those numbers start dropping down, we'll see.
Yeah, they're looking definitely more short term than long term right now.
Absolutely.
Which I mean, I guess they have to.
You have to when you're $3 billion, when you got $3 billion in loans that have to be paid out. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I'm not like. I'm sure the whole ESPN pay-per-view deal, they were fucking pumped to get that because that is just consistent money. It's right. Guaranteed money that they're getting, and they can just they just know what they're gonna get, and then they can kind of
they don't make
those
money
numbers.
from the pay-per-view?
No, they get a flat rate.
Yeah, ESPN gives them a flat rate now. Yeah, that's why they don't. That's why they don't have to deal with Connor's bullshit. That's why you haven't seen Dana out there begging Connor to come back because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how many pay-per-views they sell now.
Well,
I mean, I'm sure ESPN's trying to push it a bit.
They want him back. Hell yeah,
they want.
There's probably things in the contract. Nothing's that simple.
No, it's definitely not that simple. But
there's no more pay-per-view points though. Nobody's getting pay-per-view points anymore. That's done.
So just getting big salaries. I don't know.
Well, Connor's got to negotiate a big contract, which I'm sure he gets. He's going to get a few $1 million for a fight. I'm sure he's going to be the highest paid guy. Don't get me wrong, but he's not going to get $3 million for a fight and then pay-per-view points anymore. That's done.
I'll believe it when I see that.
They report that's been reported. Like Mookie and them at Bloody Elbow was just talking about that a couple of days ago. Like once they signed that deal, the whole pay-per-view points things went out the window. That's why Connor
don't know how you can just take that away from fighters. Like I guess that's how their fucking contracts are. They're able to.
Who knows, man? What we're talking about, man. That's why it's so fucked up, dude. They have no bargaining power whatsoever. They have none. I mean, what's Connor gonna go do? Go try to fight Paulie or some shit? I mean, that's all he's got. He's not gonna go to Bellator and make $3 million in fucking pay-per-view points.
Or $10 million or whatever the fuck they pay him.
Yeah. Yep. Not saying that Connor's not gonna get a chunk of fucking money to fight. He will. He's gonna be the highest paid guy, but with ESPN, with them doing that deal, it did away with pay-per-view points.
It's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Yeah.
In good time. Definitely in good time. Anyway, China.
Yeah, mainland China. Isn't this the first card in mainland China? Or did that already happen?
No. Not maybe
It's
you're
the
right.
first visit to Shenzhen or whatever, but I don't know
it's
if
not because there was a fight in Beijing at some
Oh,
point.
right, yeah. So is there still protests going on, or has that kind of just been snuffed out?
They're
Or
still going on.
Hell no, it's getting violent now. They were talking about
We're back to
They were
violence.
talking about like a week ago that there was talks that this card might have to get canceled, but the Chinese government wasn't letting that shit happen. They literally like a week ago or so they started talking about that, and then the Chinese state put out a fucking video literally showing them moving hundreds of fucking armored
I did see
vehicles and
that.
shit towards fucking Hong Kong and shit, dude. It was wild. Yep. Now it's getting crazy down there. There's motherfuckers like hell. There was some girl, like young girl, that got her eye shot out and shit, and
Jesus,
it's bad. It's bad over. I mean, what's a little freedom, Who needs it?
Looks like we're starting the night with a banger.
Something called Halal Alatang versus Batgirl Dana?
What?
Dana.
Batgirl Dana.
Batgirl Dana. Uh-oh. Put that in Brad's book. It's a pretty good one. Shit.
Man. We got a 12-7 fighter.
I'm surprised. 19 fights. That's a veteran. Dana just assumes that if they fought 19 times that they have to be solid.
Well, he did beat a 6-6 fighter to get this UFC debut. So
we're assuming it's a shade, but you don't know. It's Batgirl Dana.
No, these are dudes. These are both dudes.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
These are dudes.
Batgirl?
Yep.
That's not right. This seems like a Fallon Fox situation.
Oh man, yeah, this is a banger to start. So like,
I think we'll skip this.
Just a question: like, how much effort are the odds makers putting in to open these lines?
I have no idea.
Guys?
Where do they find these humanoids?
Like, I don't know. I mean, luckily, Dimes opens the lines and there's like $100 openers, so they're just like, fuck it.
They rolled Batgirl Dana out of a Mongolian barbecue in Beijing and said, like, take a flight to Shenzhen, you're in.
Like, there's a little bit of tape on fuck however you say this fucking guy's name.
Hailey?
Yeah, Hailey, because Road FC's a decent organization over there. Yeah. But literally, this other cat, I don't know where you're finding shit at. Like, that's Major League Gaming, ain't it? Like, aren't they playing World of Warcraft and shit?
MGL-1.
Isn't that that's World of Warcraft, dog? Like, how are you getting tape on this dude to even set these lines, man? I have no fucking idea.
They're just like, fuck it. We'll just open it. Like, we'll look for records. Minus 140 plus 100, and then have $100 openers. And if somebody really, really has a keen eye and does their homework, finds some of these fucking fights that, they can have their $100 if they got a good line, I guess. Yeah, this is a hell of a one. Batgirl Dana. No fucking clue.
I would pick
Mongolian superhero.
I would pick the dude that's fighting in a decent organization and fighting guys with actual winning records, but that's about it.
But the guy that he beat is 6-6 now.
I know, so it means absolutely nothing.
Who fucking
Yep. I mean, do not bet this shit. Like, I gotta tell myself that because it's gonna be 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah,
like,
come on. Like,
do not bet this shit.
What can the handle be on this fight across like every sports book? Like
what idiot has an edge on it? If Wes's boy in the desert bets this fight or has a play on this fight, he might have a play on this fight too.
Ooh.
Now we got 2 Brazilian chicks fighting each other in fucking
This was
China.
a good idea.
In China.
We got Lara Preoccupied taking on Carolina Rosa. I don't know. I got nothing.
This is what do you know? It's a pick'em fight because nobody fucking knows who the hell these people are.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh God. He said preoccupied. I'm fucking.
The one chick, like Shudo Brazil, that's still a thing.
Yeah,
As
why
a
not?
fighting organization.
There's no jungle fights.
they're on. I believe Shudo's on still on Fight Pass every now and then.
But is that regular Shudo? Is that Shudo Brazil? Is that the same thing?
Yeah, well,
I don't
Shudo Brazil. They've been around a while.
Yeah, well, they're on their 87th card. That's when the chick fought. The preoccupied chick fought last time was on.
Well, she was preoccupied.
Like a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. If you're betting this shit, like seriously, seek fucking help.
Just flip a coin if that's true.
Yeah.
This is real deal gambling. If you're putting money on one of these chicks, this is real deal gambling.
Just flip a coin, bro. Straight up.
Yeah.
Who was that fucking moron said, you got a problem if you bet the Little League World Series? No, you got a fucking problem if you're betting
the hot dog eating contest.
Yeah, or the hot
Fuck
dog.
that.
The hot dog.
If you're betting these chicks, then you got a problem.
I got an edge on fucking Joey Chestnut. I have no fucking clue about this shit.
Oh, we finally get a real fight.
Oh, wait a second.
Yeah,
we
this is
got Damir Ismagulov taking on Thiago Moises. I know those names.
Hell yeah. Here we
He's
go.
actually two good guys.
All right,
Is
Wes,
it-
you could do the first breakdown of the night.
Did they
Here we
really
go.
like?
I'm
bury
gonna
this
watch
shit?
Match Point and Coco Gauff match. You talk.
Did they really? Is this really where this fight is on the card? Like it can't.
Yeah, that's like I guess they want somebody to show up. Like this is a main. Like what? This is the third best fight on this card. Is it not?
Probably
Third or fourth.
at worst.
Yeah. But I guess they got to put something on the undercard for people to show up. Also, the preliminary card is on ESPN. They're going to be airing these fights at 2 a.m. on ESPN.
That's wild, dude. That is wild.
All right, Wes, go ahead and break this baby down.
I think this is a pretty close fight. I like both of these dudes. I just think in this one, Ismagulov is a little bit better on where I think this fight's going to take place. I think it's going to be mostly on the feet. Ismagulov's just a longer, kind of rangier striker, and I think that if he can keep this on the feet and kind of stay at distance and pick his shots, I think he can cruise to a pretty easy decision here. Moises is pretty good in the clinch, and if it gets to the mat, it's a little dicey, but man, Ismagulov's going to be the bigger guy here. And I thought he had a really good win last time out against Joe Alvarez. And I think that fight could kind of look like this one, just kind of slow, more of a slow paced fight. And I think Ismagulov kind of cruises to a pretty easy decision here. And I think his line's still a little short. I put him in a parlay when I believe he was around minus 170. Nothing big. Like I said, I do think it's a kind of a close fight, but I think Ismagulov gets it done by decision.
All right. New Sean.
Yeah, I was kind of going into this fight looking to bet Ismagulov. The more I watched it, I'm a little less. I was more hesitant on betting him. Moises looked pretty good in his last fight against Holloway. When he's able to
probably his best win.
Oh, for sure. And when he's able to use his offensive wrestling, it's definitely a game changer. Against Dariush, Dariush was just on him, like right on him the whole time, and just wouldn't let him get his offensive game going. So he was just defending the whole time, and so that was kind of how he kind of got shut down in that fight. In this one, it's tough for me to know where this is going to go. I think Ismagulov is definitely the cleaner striker. I think Moises has a lot more power. Mm-hmm. Ismagulov hit both guys that he's fought in the UFC clean a lot of times and didn't seem to rock either of those guys. So either those two guys got hell's like unreal chins, or he just doesn't have that much power. So that kind of makes me stay away because I think Moises is kind of a tougher bully kind of dude. So if Moises can get his offensive wrestling going, I think he can kind of stifle Ismagulov, and then it gets to a much closer fight. I'll pick Ismagulov just to use his better striking, cleaner striking, and keep him on the outside. What I do like in this fight, I played goes to decision at minus 200. I just laid it for a unit. Both these guys are tough, and like I said, I don't think Ismagulov has a big amount of power, and I think he can take whatever Moises throws him. But pick Ismagulov to win a decision.
Okay, I got Ismagulov a C+, Moises a C. Should be competitive, but I really like what I saw from Ismagulov. I think he has kind of a full package game. It's just a matter of continuing to take one step up at a time and continuing to get wins. I mean, the one thing I'll give Dana credit for, that's rare, is that he at least on the Contender Series, he's been fairly smart with not wanting, like, talking about, like, not rushing guys, and I kind of could see that because, I mean, you know, it's you can kind of false start some fighters before you know, even if they have talent, they may not get there. I think we've seen it a lot. Northcutt. I mean, there's been a lot of people. So, like, why throw Ismagulov to, you know, like a top, like, 12 fighter into the division? Let him continue to move up a little bit at a time. I think he's more talented than Moises. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to. Like, it's not a blowout, but he should win, you know, a unanimous decision at worst. All right, let's move on to
Where is Brad when we need him?
Okay.
What the fuck?
Cadiz, I brag more or something like that. I don't know.
A Bragamov.
A brag. I brag.
There you go.
I brag about Cadiz. Okay. I got nothing. Does anyone want to talk about this fight? I got nothing.
I'm not putting my money anywhere near this, but the pick is definitely going to be an undefeated Russian over a fucking
Dagestan.
Yeah, over
anything.
South Korean. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, right. Ibragimov is the he's the light heavyweight champ at M1, so that's a decent organization. Yeah. This Korean dude, his second last win was against a fighter that is now 0-5.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So yeah, pick is definitely Ibragimov, but not gonna bet that because it's light heavyweight and who knows what the fuck's gonna happen. This kind of shitty guys.
Wait, there's only one night match at the U.S. Open West? Is the Nadal match a walkover?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they can't.
Yeah.
But they figured some shit out and like, oh, that's awful. Anyway, let's move on. I will not fade undefeated Dagestani fighter pretty much ever. Anyway, we got one of our favorites.
Subkantai.
Taking on something called Madre.
Lance is fucking betting this guy.
Yeah, what is that about?
Lance has two units on a fucking guy from Tibet.
They got armbarred by fucking Smoker.
This has to be just a pure fade of the Soup Kantai because he has definitely not seen this guy fight ever.
Nope, there's no way.
He's betting on your mother.
He saw the Smoker fight, I'm sure. And how you betting this guy off of that Smoker fight? Like,
this guy got smoked by Smoker.
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, Soup Kantai, he's not great or anything, man. But the decision he went to Montel Jackson with last time is enough to beat this cat. I don't want my money anywhere near this, but Soup Kantai is definitely the pick.
Nushan.
Yeah, I got nothing. I've always thought Sukantai is pretty terrible, but I would hope he's good enough to beat this 23-year-old dude from China.
I'm with you. I don't know what Lance knows, but
He's got that inside scoop.
we'll take it. Then we got Anthony Hernandez taking on someone called Jun Young Park. I mean, they just picked this guy off the streets of Busan, didn't they?
I mean, I think he was an extra in like the Jean-Claude Van Damme Double Impact Part 2.
Or the Train to Busan movie?
No, he was in Double Impact Part 2, Real Fight.
Shit.
The sequel, the Van Damme movie.
Are you being serious?
Was that straight to fucking DVD or straight to VHS? Was that one?
That's where he fought last time. Real Fight, Double Impact. Yeah, look, Anthony Hernandez is not good either, but he's got his LFA win against Brendan Allen is better than this guy's ever done in his life.
That's a fact.
I'm not betting this whatsoever, but Anthony Hernandez should win this fight.
Yeah, he should. All right, Nushan.
Yeah, I got nothing here. I'm surprised this line is this short. Maybe these people know more than what I do, but I still am not gonna bet it.
Who are these people? We don't.
Yeah,
know.
I really wanted to like put a small play on Hernandez, and I can't do it. Man.
Is there some Greek money on this Chinese fight?
No, we're on the same side as the Greek this week, but
hey, this Korean dude beat Ray Cooper III like 2.5 years ago. So I mean, that's not a bad win.
That's a different Ray Cooper. He's on those WSOF PODs or whatever they're PFL PEDs.
That's fair.
Yeah, he is. I'll agree with you guys. You have to lean that way just on based on experience and. Yeah.
Fuck. I just looked at an odds. So Park by submissions like plus 1075. Park's got a shit ton. He's got a couple of good submissions, and Hernandez definitely has been choked. So throw a dart, people.
He likes being choked.
If you have to have something.
if you're fixing to get some money on this, throw it on the sub.
If it's 5 a.m. and you're falling asleep.
Just mainline that dart on fucking.
Do what you have to do.
Park by sub at 1075.
Well, on a better note, should be an entertaining fight to close out the prelim card. This is on ESPN regular in the middle of the night?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Nice. All right. You got that middle of the night program, I guess, to avoid the college football, huh? Anyway. That's one way to do an event and avoid college football programming. All right, we got Kanan Song taking on Derek Krantz. Give me some thoughts here.
Yeah, this is actually a fight where I like a side quite a bit. I think Krantz is getting really overlooked here, man. I think people's putting a lot into his last fight, and I'm giving him a complete pass for that fight, man. I mean, he literally fought one of the best strikers in the division on like 2 weeks' notice in his UFC debut. Like, that's a pretty tall fucking task, man. And props to him. He went right at Luke A in that fight, and he got starched. What can you really do, man? He seemed like he's taken a few months off. Got right back in there afterwards, and. Man, just if you watch Derek Krantz, I've seen a lot of his fights, man. He's got some really good wins and a really good organization in LFA. Is this guy that got beat by fucking the ghost Alex Morono really that? Oh yeah.
Casper.
Should he really be like a pick'em against Derek Krantz in this fight? That's crazy to me, man. If Krantz was like minus 175 or a 2-1 fave, I'd probably pass. But man, at this price, Krantz can absolutely fucking body Song up, man, in this fight. And I think that's what's going to happen. That's what he's got to do. Don't let Song get in any kind of striking distance and throw bombs on him. And I think he can do that. And Yeah, I like Krantz in this fight, man. I played him at, I believe, like minus 110 or something, right in that area. He's still around that. On a very, very shallow card for betting wise. I like Krantz quite a bit.
Okay. Nushan.
I bet Song Kanon against Alex Morono. I was like, how the fuck is this guy going to lose
I did too, I think.
to shitty Alex Morono?
I did too.
Got him at like minus 112, and he lost. And that's not a good look. Kanon still has big power, so if he lands, he could, knock out Krantz. Krantz it's not like he has an iron chin. He did get knocked out by Luque 3 months ago. That's a decently quick turnaround from getting flatlined, so that's a bit worrisome. I'm staying away. I don't think either of these guys are good. It's a close fight. If I were to toss some change on it, I'd probably take Kanon by KO because I don't know. That's the way I think he wins, and it's like plus 285 or something like that. So I think that could be worth a stab. But other than that, I'll pick old Krantz to win. 31 years old. He's got 11 losses. Ugh, Yeah, we'll see. It's in China. Maybe that propels Song Kanon to somehow knock his ass out.
Well, it's a close fight on paper. Kanan Song, I mean, we thought he was better than he was, but then he kind of showed his true colors. He's kind of stiff. He does have some real knockout power though, and that could be a real concern, because I think he could absolutely knock out Krantz, but Krantz is a way better player or rather fighter, and yeah, just more well-rounded, should grind. I think he should win, but yikes! I mean, it's gonna be a sweat job. That's kind of how this works.
Jay over watching Coco, ain't you? Better player.
Yeah. Oh,
15 years old. That is insane. Right into the third round, man. That's pretty awesome.
Now she plays Naomi Osaka. That should be interesting.
Yep.
We got main card 5 fights. We got Wu Yunan taking on pretty well-known female fighter making her UFC debut, Mizuki Inoue. Wes, anything here?
Inoue should win. No money.
Okay. Nushan.
Yeah, I would say Inoue wins, but it is women fights. I mean, Wu Yunan fucking lost us. Gina Mazzani a couple of years ago.
That's all you need to know.
Terrible, man.
She's one of the worst fighters to ever be in the UFC. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, so the pick's going to be Inoue, but I'm not touching this in any way.
Mazzani is terrible.
Yeah. Not terrible.
I'll agree with you guys. Let's move on to more important stuff. We got Liu Zhanghong as the biggest underdog on the fight, taking on pretty highly regarded Russian fighter Movsar Evloev. Wes?
Evloev should be as high as anybody wants to make him in this fight. I think he's pretty damn good. He's fighting a pretty shitty fighter, and I bet him inside the distance at plus 177.
Make some good points. All right, Nushan.
Evloev opened minus 270.
Yeah, it was
terrible line.
I missed the openers this week. That was crazy.
That's crazy. I mean, it got.
The guy's already a B- level fighter.
I'd have played that fucking straight hard as much as I could have gotten down if I'd have caught it. I didn't.
Yeah, that's crazy town. These guys actually fought each other back in 2015. That was Evloev's like second career fight. It was, I think, I can't find it now. It was decently into this Liu guy's career, so Evloev won by this.
Yeah, Evloev's second fight, and it was Liu's 8th fight.
Yeah, so I mean, he beat him there by decision. I think that's the only thing you got to question in this fight is if Evloev gets a finish or not. He looked really good in that Choi fight. I'm expecting him to look good, and especially because he has the experience of fighting this guy already. So I would tend to agree that he's probably going to get a finish.
Do you think that this Lou had a sweet and sour chicken in the corner of his gym where he trains?
That might be the funniest thing you've ever fucking said on this show, Jay.
That's a pretty good compliment. West
Oh yeah, that's our boy. That's a compliment. Holy shit, that's good stuff, Jay.
This card is really bad.
Yeah.
I don't even do the show on this. People must be like, Christ. You think, they're gonna get some gold lines though. At least.
Oh, we give.
At least our audience will laugh when they take a listen.
We give the people what they expect from us. 25% breakdowns, 75% bullshit.
This would be one of the biggest upsets of the year if Moves-R loses.
Yep.
I mean, they picked up this guy. Who knows where they picked up this guy? Like I feel like there's like Shelby or whomever. What's the other guy's name? I'm losing my mind.
Maynard.
Like they just like, oh, what's a Chinese promotion? Oh, okay. Do you think you could like lend us some guys? And they're like, okay, sure. And it made sense to schedule this guy against maybe the like a 3 or 4 prospect in the featherweight division. Like
Evloev was supposed to fight Mike Grundy, and then Grundy pulled out.
Mike Grundy, another terrible. Like, come on, enough.
But I mean, I guess
at least he's a body.
He's a body, and I guess it's better than rushing these guys. Just keep padding that record and slowly bring them up. I mean, Evloev's pretty damn young, so I don't think you need to rush him. But yeah, it's kind of stupid to give him this kind of guy. But I don't know. It seems like lately they can't get very many people of substance on short notice. They're going dumpster diving.
Yeah, seems that way. Should we move on to the third fight? So at least we know both these guys, so that's a plus. We got Mark De La Rosa, husband of Montana De La Rosa, taking on Cobra Kai France. Nice.
I might not know both of these guys because I mixed up my Caucasian strikers.
This happened again. This happened to you again?
No, it's still the same guy I was looking at, but I mixed up the gyms when I said before the show that he's a SBG guy. That's the other Caucasian striker, and Cantona is who I was mixing him up with.
Brad Katona.
Yeah. I think Car France is pretty decent, man. But he lost that last fight, man. And he got a gift there, and he probably should win this fight, but man, Mark De La Rosa he's gonna dirty this fight up, man. And I'm not sure if Car France is I'm not sure he's really good in those kind of fights. I think when he can stay at distance and kickbox and piece guys up, he's really, really good. I just don't think De La Rosa's gonna let him do that, man. I think he could dirty this fight up, and if he can get a hold of France a little bit and make this ugly, I think he's got a shot in this fight. And at some dog money, I'm gonna take a little bit of shot. I actually got some plus 195 a little earlier in the week. Nothing big, just a little bit of action. I think it's a close fight, and France probably wins this more often than not. But I think De La Rosa's got a little bit of shot here, and took a little bit of the dog money for some action.
Well, puppy money. Okay. Nushan.
Yeah, Wes is right. Kai Kara France lost that last fight. I possibly had money on him. I don't know, but yeah, that was not a good decision. He got a hometown scorecard on that one. I don't think he's going to be as lucky here. De La Rosa, he's an okay fighter. He's a grinder. He fights at a Factory X, and they seem to be getting their
They're
shit
on the
together.
come up.
They're
Yeah,
doing really well. There's a lot
One of the
good
best
fighters.
gyms out there. Yep.
Yeah, so I like Wes. I think if De La Rosa can make it dirty and get everybody tired and grappling and stuff like that, I think that's going to take Kara France out of his game, and then it gets to be a really, really close fight. I haven't played De La Rosa. I just looked, and in him by decision is like plus 370. I'm probably going to sprinkle a half unit on that. I think that is a bit wide. Both these guys are tough. Flyweights usually go to decision, and getting an extra couple dollars on De La Rosa's money line, I think I got to take a shot on that one.
Where are my grades? Oh yeah, I got De La Rosa D+, Kara France a C. I mean, De La Rosa is a guy I had like higher expectations for, but he's kind of let me down the last fight, I think, or rather 2 fights he's been in. Could make it competitive against Kara France, but I think Kara France is the more technically gifted fighter on the feet. I think this fight taking place in Asia is also an advantage. De La Rosa is going to have to go a long way over here to take this fight. And I think Kara France might be a guy that like does well when fights are in Asia or Australia in this part of the world, and then not as well. A significant downgrade when he has to fight, maybe in North America. So be on the lookout for that. Co-main event, we got Elijah Dushku, another one of our favorites, taking on absolutely friend of the MMA analysis, China number 3, Li Jingliang.
Jangalang.
Jangalang.
I think China number 3 is fair statement at this point.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Wes, give your thoughts on this co-main event.
Yeah, it's a really good fight. Yeah, but before that, I mean, let's go back and remember when we all got a little bit of plus money on Elijah Dushku against against Curtis Millender, probably the worst takedown defense that we've ever seen in our lives.
So good.
Yeah, that was nice. Man, I really like both of these guys. Jangalang, absolute friend of the show. Dude, just he's much must see fucking TV, man. When he fights, he just puts on just incredible fights. I think he's in a little deep here, man. I think the talent gap here is just going to be a little bit too much for him, man. Elijah Dushku is on a fucking run, man. That guy is on a hell of a winning streak. You can see the improvement. I think guys like him that don't take a ton of damage and stuff like that kind of peak around 30, 32 years old, around there. Just all depends on kind of how long you've been in the game. Of course, we got guys that are 30 and shit like Barrow and shit that literally fall off a cliff. It's just a different, kind of a different career trajectory when you have all those fights and stuff early. I just think this guy's peaking, man, at this time. And I think he's gonna be a little too much for Jangalang, man. Jangalang's not gonna be able to stay up and get off with his strikes like he does with a lot of guys. Dushku gets a hold of him, man, and it's gonna be some problems, and I think that's what's gonna happen. I like him in this fight. I got him in a couple parlays. I got him in one with somebody else on the card, and then one with some other sports stuff. But yeah, like I said earlier, a really shallow betting card. I think this is a really good parlay piece if you need one.
Okay. Nushan.
Yeah, obviously love both these dudes. That's a good start. That's what you said. Exactly. I've bet on both these guys damn near in all their fights. Really fun guys to watch. Dos Santos is so, I think he's just very, very underrated. He hasn't really got much he just never gets a step up in fights. Hopefully after this fight, if he wins, then he'll get a step up. He's just kind of he fights those middling, like almost top 15 fighters, and he does well against them. Zhang, fuck, he gets dropped a lot. He got dropped against David Zawada, not a great look. Got dropped twice against Jake Matthews, not a great look, not an unbelievable striker. And even Keita Nakamura was able to drop him in that fight. So he's a guy that fights through a lot of stuff, but he can be hit, he can be touched, and Elijah Dushku has a lot of power, so I would not be surprised if we see Elijah Dushku flatline Lil Jangalang. It definitely could happen. It's a bit scary because Jangalang has a lot of power himself. But I just like the variety that Elijah Dushku throws. I think he can take it to the ground. He can grind a bit on Jangalang if he needs to. I give a fairly big edge to the Elijah Dushku one. So I actually laid it at minus 265. I'm not really liking much for parlay material, so I just laid it to win 1 unit. I think he either knocks out Lil Jangalang or is able to grind him out and win a pretty wide decision.
Guys, do you know how many fights Elijah Dushku has won in a row?
7?
8?
7 UFC fights in a row.
Yeah.
7.
And the only loss in the UFC is a split decision in his first fight against Nicholas Dalby, and then he's won every fight since.
That was a weird fight, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my grades are Elijah Dushku C+, Jangalang C-. This is a tough fight for Jangalang. I mean, he's gonna obviously both guys are gonna bring it, but Elijah Dushku just got a more well-rounded game. Can grapple, knows just how to win, and he's proven that he can win, and he's done it time and time again. 7 in a row in the UFC is pretty incredible. So that's really the main, that's really it. I mean, you got a consistent fighter versus one who, has moments, but really hasn't beaten anyone of like any real worth. That's why he's China number 3 and not China GOAT. So that's the world we live in. Elijah Dushku should win, and he is the first piece of a parlay, our consensus bet of the week, I believe if we win this week, this will be a winning streak, I believe, right?
Yep, coming off a win.
So, yep. So yeah, first piece of that parlay. Main event time, we got flyweight champion, or rather strawweight champion, Jessica Andrade, taking on the first ever Chinese fighter to get a title shot in the UFC. The woman's name is Weili Zhang. Yes, Weili Zhang. That's going to be a piece of trivia one day. All right, Wes. Main event.
Yeah, I'll keep this kind of short. I like Weili Zhang. I think she's for that part of the world, she's one of their best fighters over there. This is too much, man. This is too much too soon. I think the UFC wanted a big fight with somebody from over there on this China card. So
they wanted some juice, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of rushing her into a title. I mean, I don't want to say rush because she's got a few some wins in a row in the promotion, and what do you really have in that division? I guess I get it from that point of view, but I just think she's in trouble here, man. Like, if you're betting on Zhang, like, seriously, where is she better than Jessica Andrade? Like, just tell me where she's better. She's not. She's a good wrestler. She's not a good enough wrestler to get Andrade down consistently. She's definitely not a better striker. She doesn't have as much power. She doesn't have the experience, the big fight experience. I didn't get this line. I know it's starting to creep up, but I mean, I put a chunk down at minus 160. I played that straight. I got that in a couple parlays. I really don't get the line. If I'm wrong, I'll go down in flames, but I know this is kind of almost turning into a Twitter mush fucking fight because everybody's on Andrade, but even fucking the biggest mush in MMA gambling now is on Andrade, which has to worry you. Yeah, has to worry you a little bit. But
I think we're talking about the man from Marathon, the man from Athens.
The chicklets from Athens, baby. I mean, I will say about chicklets though, he's actually gotten a few on these pay-per-view cards over the past couple months. The Contender Series, he crashes and burns every time, but
yeah, he fucking lost. He laid fucking minus 400, minus 500 on a guy and lost.
He's actually been on, I believe it's been 3 times over the past few months since he started this. He's been on the biggest fave on the entire card and mushed him like 3 times already,
that takes skills.
That's crazy. But with all that, I think he's on the right side here. I think the Twitter fucking mob is on the right side here, man. Andrade is just better. It's gonna take some crazy shit for her to lose this fight. I just can't see it, man. 25 minutes with Andrade, Zhang's in trouble, man. I love Andrade in this fight.
Wow. Okay, Nushan.
Yeah, I don't get this line either. To regurgitate what I think, regurgitate what Wes said, I think this is the UFC putting a young fighter. There's not, I mean, who else were they going to give the shot to at strawweight? There was maybe one other fighter, but they're going to China. They need a Chinese fighter headlining. They got their main event fighter. So she is decent. She is good. But I just can't. I don't see her having what you need to beat a Jessica Andrade. Like, I don't think her wrestling is good enough at this weight to just hold her down. Nobody's really been able to do that at 115. I don't think she has the striking that Rose had at the start of their fight, or the striking that JJ has. So she's a well-rounded fighter, but she just isn't good enough in the areas that are gonna give Jessica Andrade problems. Andrade is going to come forward and swing hooks and crack that body and crack that head. And I just think this is Andrade is just way too much at this point for Zhang. So I'm big on Andrade. I got 3 units on her. That's one of my bigger bets of probably the year. I got it at minus 155. Like Wes, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. From everything that I can see, Jessica Andrade should be a much bigger favorite at this point. But if somehow Zhang comes out of there and shocks the world, then I'll lick my wounds. That's the way it goes. But it's not like Zhang is some young fighter. She's 30 years old. I think for the most part. She's
older than Andrade.
Yeah, she's. I think for the most part, she is who she's going to be. She's a well-rounded fighter that has pretty good skills, but I don't expect her to have some big leap in ability that we see with some fighters. So from what I've seen with both these fighters, I think Andrade is going to do pretty well in this. She has tossed around some wrestlers. She's bodied some pretty decent strikers. So I don't know if Andrade gets the finish. It could be like a 4th round where she's just beating her up enough that the ref stops it. But this is gonna be Andrade. I don't see it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I grade Zhang a B. Andrade, I grade an A plus. It's just a huge difference in talent. The funny part is, I mean, Andrade's been known for her volume. It's like 6.5 strikes landed per minute. Zhang's at 5, well over 5, so that's a pretty high level too. But just the level of talent is just so astronomically different that it's hard. It's hard to see Zhang just like step up to the occasion here after, like, okay, she fought like Torres, but that fight was like, I mean, she won, but it wasn't anything like out of this world. It was kind of a boring fight. Andrade just throws with like so much more power than anything Zhang has ever seen, that we don't even know how Zhang's going to react to like being hit by Andrade's power punches. I mean, she may wilt pretty easily. We have no idea.
She might. Yeah, she actually might. This might turn ugly.
There's not many girls who are 115 pounds that punch the way Jessica Andrade does.
Female Johnny fucking Lineker.
There are none. So yeah, so that's one possibility too, which definitely plays Andrade's favor to make her even a bigger favorite than she is, because she's really the only fighter who could win this fight, like kind of going away. And then just again her volume. I mean, Zhang Thurbin hasn't been taken down in a fight, but we'll see if Andrade wants to take her down. I mean, she could just if she lands the power early and Zhang like doesn't like the power, it's gonna be a blowout. I mean, you'll see it like very, very early in this fight. I like Andrade too. There's zero confidence that you could have Zhang wins this fight. I mean, I don't see how you could even pick her to win the fight, just based on what we have seen before. The fact that she's older than Andrade, it's not like she's some hotshot young prospect. I mean, yeah, she's gonna be valued a bit by the home crowd, but this is just a fight I think made to attract interest in the local market. Zhang really wasn't ready, and really even deserving to be in this fight. I mean, beating the ghost of Tisha Torres to me at this point does not get you a title shot, and it shouldn't. And it's a glorified fight, and Andrade is going to win. And she is our second piece of our consensus bet of the week parlay. It is Elijah Dushku. For those who don't know that reference, Mr. Dos Santos taken combined with Jessica Andrade. Nushan, what's the price?
Plus 110.
All right,
square as fuck, but it's gonna win.
It's square, but
that's fine. Even Lance is on it this week, so yeah. All right. That does it for this big show.
Don't forget you fucks to watch the most skilled boxer in the sport right now this weekend. I'll be very disappointed. I'll be very disappointed if you fucks don't watch Lomo this weekend.
Yeah.
Well,
UFC's not going to be in the way.
Well, they called you fuck, so there's that.
Next week we got Khabib and Poirier.
Shoo, what a fight!
Oh shit, that's a week away.
Yeah,
what a
crazy
fight!
Oh hell yeah! Is that a weekday? Is that a midday card?
It's a
Saturday
that's an afternoon. That's a Saturday afternoon card, I believe.
Fuck, I might have to go to a fucking baby thing.
No, Jay! You gotta watch Khabib.
I might have to talk to some people. I might have to make some messages during this after this.
The main card is starting at 2 Eastern on September 7th.
Oh no!
So Khabib will fight around 5.
All right, I'll figure it out.
Priorities, Jay. Come on.
Yep. All right. Well, that does it for this week's show. We'll figure out next week when we get there, especially me. Thanks for joining us. It was we had fun. We hope you had fun listening. Enjoy the fights as much as you can.